So, buckle up, folks, because this is the wild ride of how my marriage went from picture, perfect suburbia to a courtroom showdown that still keeps me up at night. I'm spilling it all. It all started back when we were fresh out of college, both landing decent jobs in the tech boom, me grinding away as a software engineer in a mid-sized firm, her diving into Graphie. We'd met at a campus party, bonded over bad pizza and mutual disdain for group projects, and before you know it we're shacking up in a tiny apartment on the outskirts of a bustling. Life was good at first. We'd come home exhausted but excited, cooking up these elaborate dinners from whatever was on sale at the grocery store, binge-watching shows until the wee. But cracks started showing early, subtle at first, like how she'd always be on her phone during meals, claiming it was work emails, but I'd catch glimpses of social media feeds fill. I brushed it off. Hey, everyone's got their vices. Mine was video games on weekends. Then came the house. We scraped together a down payment, thanks to some inheritance from my folks, moved into this cozy two-story in a quiet neighborhood where kids rode bikes and knee. She quit her job to "focus on us," which meant turning the spare room into a home office for freelance gigs, but soon enough, packages started arriving daily, boxes of supplements. One night, after a particularly rough day at work where my boss reamed me for a bug in the code that cost the company a client, I came home to find her huddled over the laptop. Tea. That should have been a red flag, but I let it slide, poured us wine, and we pretended everything was fine. Months turned into a routine, me pulling overtime to climb the ladder, her hosting these parties with girlfriends where they'd sip tea and talk about empowerment while signing up. I confronted her once, gently, saying we didn't need the extra cash, but she got defensive, eyes flashing with this intensity I'd never seen, insisting it was about independence, Okay, fair enough, I thought, but then the bank statement started looking weird small withdrawals here and there, adding up to hundreds, then thousands labeled as business expense. The curiosity gnawed at me, especially when she'd vanish for hours on errands that left her flushed and evasive. One afternoon, working from home due to a server outage, I peeked into her email. Yeah, I know, invasion of privacy, but desperation makes monsters of us all. And there it was, receipt. My heart sank. Affair, right? Classic story. Went, more, R.D. But no names, no lovey-dovey messages, just confirmations and cryptic notes about meetings. I stewed on it for days, replaying every interaction, wondering if the guy from her confrontation came over dinner. I laid out the printouts, voice steady but insides churning, and she broke down, not denying but explaining it was for her side hustle, meeting up ply. Relief washed over me, mixed with anger at the secrecy, and we hugged it out, promised better communication. But that night, lying awake, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Why the cheap motels? Why the cash withdrawals? Little did I know, this was just the tip of the iceberg, and the real storm was brewing beneath the surface, ready to upend everything I thought I knew about the woman I married. As the months dragged on, our arguments escalated from whispers to shouts, mostly about money. She was sinking more into this business, buying inventory that piled up in the garage. I suggested couples counseling, but she laughed it off, saying we were fine, just stressed from work. Work, huh? My promotion came through, more responsibility, more pay, but also more travel, leaving me on planes while she networked at home. On one trip, I got a call from the bank about suspicious activity, overdrafts I didn't authorize, and rushed back early, only to find the house empty, her car gone, and a note saying. Confronted her later, and she admitted the MLM was failing, but she had a new opportunity that would turn it around. We fought epic that night, me yelling about fiscal responsibility, her accusing me of not supporting her dreams. Make-up sex followed, passionate but hollow, like we were acting out a script. Then came the fertility talks. We'd been trying for a kid casually at first, but now seriously, with apps and ovulation kits cluttering the bathroom. Tests showed my swimmers were fine, but hers, doctors said stress maybe, or something environmental. She threw herself into holistic remedies from her MLM pals, chugging teas and popping pills that smelled like dirt. I supported it, even joined a few sessions, but doubt crept in when I found hidden pill bottles, not fertility aids, but antidepressants, prescribed under her maiden name. "Why hide that?" I asked, gently, and she confessed to anxiety issues from childhood managed privately. Okay, progress, I thought. We scheduled therapy together. But sessions revealed more: her resentment over my long hours, my obliviousness to her isolation in suburbia. I promised change, cut back on work, planned date nights. Things improved briefly, laughter returned, intimacy sparked. But then the twist. I overheard a phone call, her whispering about the investment paying off soon, not to the MLM crowd, but to a voice that sounded male, professional. Snooping deeper, I'm not proud, I found emails to a financial advisor, not ours, discussing offshore accounts. What the hell? Confrontation 2.0 view, she admitted to day trading stocks on the side, using our joint savings as collateral, chasing quick wins to prove she could contribute. Losses mounted, but she hid them, forging statements. Fury boiled over. I felt betrayed, not just financially, but emotionally. We separated bedrooms that night, the house feeling colder than ever. Therapy continued, but trust eroded like sand, and just when I thought we'd hit rock bottom, she dropped the bomb, pregnant. Joy? Terror? Both? But timing didn't add up. I'd been away for weeks. Paternity test loomed, but she swore it was mine. Conceived before my trip, doubt poisoned everything. As we navigated this, her business collapsed entirely, debts calling from creditors. I bailed us out, resentment simmering. The baby news shifted focus, prenatal visits, nursery planning. But scans showed complications, nothing major, but enough to stress us further. She leaned on her MLM sisters for support, isolating me. One evening I found her packing a bag saying she needed space at her parents'. I begged her to stay, promised to fix it all. She left anyway, tears in her eyes, leaving me in that empty house, wondering if the marriage was salvageable, or if this was the beginning of the end. Little did I know, the real curveball was yet to come, something that would make the financial mess look like child's play. So here I am alone in the house that once echoed with our laughter, now just creaks and silence, staring at the nursery half painted in soft blue, because we didn't want to know. Her leaving hit like a truck. I called her parents, but they were tight-lipped, saying she needed time. Work suffered, code errors piled up, boss pulled me aside for a chat about performance. I confided in a buddy over beers, and he suggested hiring a PI, half joking, but desperation made it real. The investigator, a grizzled vet with a no-nonsense vibe, dug in for a fee that stung but promised answers. Weeks passed in a blur, me rattling around the house, cooking for one, scrolling through old photos where we looked happy, questioning every memory. Then the report landed, photos of her at coffee shops with a man, not romantic poses but intense discussions, papers exchanged. My gut twisted. Affair after all? But the P.I. said no. The guy was a lawyer, specializing in bankruptcy and asset protection. What? Turns out her day trading was deeper. A full-blown gambling addiction, online poker and sports bets, racking up losses in the tens of thousands, hidden through apps and crypto-wah. The MLM was a cover, a way to launder small amounts, but it spiraled. The lawyer was helping her file for personal bankruptcy without dragging me in. Relief mixed with rage. Why not tell me? We could have faced it together. I confronted her at her parents', showing the report, and she crumbled, admitting it started innocently, a thrill during lonely nights, but addiction gripped hard. Tears flowed, she begged forgiveness, swore to get help, AA for gamblers or whatever. The pregnancy complicated everything. Stress could harm the baby, doctors warned. For it. We reconciled tentatively her moving back, attending meetings together. I monitored finances like a hawk, apps locked, joint therapy intensified. Things stabilized, belly grew, Kicks felt like hope. But then the unexpected twist. During a routine checkup, the doc pulled us aside, twins. Shock, joy, double the fear. We adjusted, buying duplicates of everything, excitement building. But her mood swung wildly hormones, she said, but I suspected relapse. Sure enough, I found browser history for betting sites, cleared but recoverable. Argument erupted, she denied, accused me of paranoia. Trust shattered again. We limped along for the baby's sake, but intimacy was gone, conversations clipped. Delivery day came early, emergency C-section, me pacing the waiting room like a caged animal. Both boys healthy, tiny miracles. Holding them, all grudges melted, for a moment. Postpartum hit her hard, depression deepened, meds adjusted. We I took paternity leave, juggling diapers and feeds while working remotely. But exhaustion bred resentment. She withdrew, spending hours online, researching baby stuff, but I knew better. One night, babies crying, I snapped, demanding she hand over her phone. She refused, storming out to the guest room. Morning brought apologies, but damage done. As months passed, the boys thrived, but our marriage withered. I suggested separation, trial basis, but she flipped, accusing me of abandoning the family. Lawyers got involved quietly. I wanted joint custody, fair split. But here's the plot twist that floored me. During mediation, her attorney revealed documents showing the house was in her name only, transferred secretly years ago via some legal low. Forged signatures, apparently, or my oblivious consent buried in paperwork. Fury ignited. This wasn't just addiction, it was calculated deception. Court battles loomed, but she played the victim card, claiming postpartum made her unstable, begging for another chance. I wavered. The boys needed both parents. We tried cohabitation as roommates, focusing on kids. It worked. Ish, routines established, laughter with the twins. But intimacy? Zero. I started seeing a therapist solo, unpacking my codependency. Then another bombshell, genetic testing for a minor health scare with one twin revealed. I'm not the biological father. Devastation. She confessed. During our rough patch before the pregnancy announcement, a one-night stand with a friend from her support group, drunk and regretful. The timing aligned. I'd been away, but she swore. It was mine until science said otherwise. Betrayal leveled up. Not just money, but our family foundation cracked. I filed for divorce that week, seeking paternity disestablishment for one, full custody fight for both, but laws in our state complicated it. She fought dirty, alleging my workholism neglected her, driving her actions. Court dates dragged, emotions raw. Amidst this, I discovered her gambling debts were tied to loan sharks, not just apps. Threats started, anonymous calls demanding payment. Fear gripped. I paid off some to protect the kids, but resentment boiled. And resentment, twist upon twist. The friend turned out to be the lawyer from earlier, untangled in her web, now facing ethics probes. Scandal erupted locally, but we kept it quiet. As the divorce inched forward, I rebuilt. New apartment, co-parenting schedule, focusing on the boys who called me Dad regardless of DNA. But the pain lingered, a scar that itched. Little did I realize the final act would reveal even deeper secrets, turning my world upside down once more. Co-parenting in the early days was like walking a tightrope over lava, every handoff tense, words measured, eyes avoiding contact while the boys babbled obliviously in their car seat. I'd moved to a modest condo across town, close enough for quick pickups, but far from the memories haunting the old house, which she kept in the settlement, me walking away with Hal. Work stabilized, promotion deferred, but performance up, coding with renewed focus as therapy. The twins hit milestones, first steps, words like "dada" that melted my resolve to stay angry, and factor and rage. But anger simmered beneath, fueled by her sporadic relapses, caught when she'd cancel visits citing headaches, but social media slips showed casino nights. I documented everything for court, building a case for more custody. Therapy helped unpack it all, my enabling her manipulations rooted in untreated bipolar, diagnosed post-divorce filing. Meds helped her stabilize, but trust gone. Then came the curveball. I started dating casually, a colleague from work, nothing serious, but word got back, and she exploded in texts, accusing me of moving on too fast, neglecty. Pot meet kettle, I thought, but kept cool for the boys' sake. One weekend she dropped them off early, looking haggard, admitting a relapse wiped out her savings. Begged for a loan, I refused, offering instead to pay directly for kids' needs. He! She stormed off, and that night police knocked. False report of abuse, claiming bruises on the twins from my care. Investigation cleared me quick, but damage done, supervised visits mandated temporarily. Rage blinded me, I lawyered up harder, pushing for full custody. Court hearing revealed her lawyer friend had bailed, disbarred over their affair, leaving her scrambling. She represented herself poorly, emotion spilling. Judge sided mostly with me. Primary custody. Her weekends supervised until clean for 6 months. Victory bittersweet. Boys thrived with routine, but missed her. I hired a nanny, balanced work, even started a side gig consulting to boost income. Life normalized—ish, until an anonymous email hit my inbox, documents showing she'd embezzled from her old job years ago, before quitting, funneling funds into her schemes. Sender unknown, but implications huge if true. Criminal charges possible. I sat on it, conflicted. Report her, risk boy's mom in jail, or ignore, enable more. Consulted my attorney. He advised turning it over to authorities discreetly. I did, and investigation launched quietly. She confronted me weeks later, hysterical, knowing I was involved somehow. Denied at first, then admitted. Small amounts to borrow, for investments, intended to repay, but snowballed. Plea deal loomed, probation, restitution. But twist, the embezzlement funded not just gambling, but a secret adoption attempt before our pregnancy, desperate for a child when fertility stalled, using shady channels that feed. Mind blown she'd gone that far without telling me. Betrayal layers peeled back like an onion, each stinging more. Co-parenting fractured further. She entered rehab mandated by court. Boys with me full time. I threw myself into fatherhood, playdates, toddler classes, finding joy in their giggles. Dating picked up, the colleague became serious, a steady presence who adored the kids. But guilt nagged, was I too harsh? Therapy said no, boundaries necessary. Then, post-rehab, she showed up transformed, sober, compliant job at a nonprofit. Apologized sincerely, no excuses, just ownership. We talked hours, unpacking the mess, her childhood trauma-fueling addictions, my work obsession blinding me to signs. Tentative peace, supervised visits resumed, positive. Boys lit up around her. But just as hope flickered, another shock medical test for the twins revealed one had a rare genetic condition traceable to her side, but the non-bio one, mine biologically after all. Lab error on initial paternity, recheck confirmed, both mine. She'd lied about the affair to cover something else. Wait, no, the one-night stand was fabricated to explain potential discrepancies from her meds affecting conception dates or so. Truth tumbled out. No affair, but artificial insemination using a donor mixed with my sample, done secretly at a clinic during our fertility struggles, hoping for success without M. Trust obliterated anew. I pulled back, limiting contact, focusing on legal protections. Divorce finalized amid this chaos, me with full legal custody, her visitation rights conditional. She fought, but evidence stacked against. Post-divorce, I flourished. New relationship bloomed, boys healthy despite challenges, career soaring with a startup offer. But shadows lingered, her recovery seemed genuine, volunteering at addiction centers. One day she asked for coffee, no agenda, just to share progress. I agreed warily. Our conversation flowed, reminiscing good times, acknowledging faults. No reconciliation, but civility for the kids. Yet the ultimate twist awaited. one that would redefine everything I thought the end was. With the ink dry on the divorce papers, life settled into a new rhythm. Me and the condo turned home with toy-strewn floors, the boys chattering in toddler speak, my girlfriend moving. Work at the startup was intense but rewarding, coding innovative apps that actually helped people, a far cry from corporate drudgery. Weekends meant parks, zoos, avoiding the old neighborhood where memories lurked. Her visitations went smoothly at first, park meet-ups under supervision, her engaging with the boys like the mom they deserved. But vigilance remained. I tracked her progress via court reports, clean tests stacking up. Then, out of the blue, she landed a stable job in counseling, using her experiences to help others, which I respected from afar. Coffee meetups became monthly, neutral ground discussions about the kids' milestones, no drama. It felt adult, evolved. But doubt whispered, could leopards change spots? One evening, after dropping the boys, she lingered, handing over a folder, full disclosure of her finances, debts paid, savings building. "Proof," she said, eyes earnest. I nodded, appreciative but guarded. Life hummed along until a health scare. My annual physical flagged high cholesterol, stress-related doc-prescribed lifestyle changes. It jolted me, reflecting on mortality priorities. Girlfriend supported, but conversations turned to future marriage, more kids. I hesitated, scars deep. Meanwhile, the boys asked about Mommy more, drawing family pictures with all of us. Heart tugged. Then the twist that redefined reality. An old college friend contacted me, apologetic, revealing he'd been her confidant through it all. Not an affair, but emotional support, and he dropped a bomb. She'd been diagnosed with a brain tumor years ago, small but affecting behavior, mood swings, impulsivity. Operable but risky, she'd hidden it, fearing pity or burdening me. The addictions? Coping mechanisms amplified by the tumor's pressure on decision centers. Mind reeled, medical records confirmed. Surgery done secretly during one conference, recovery masked as relapses. Why hide? Pride, she admitted later, not wanting to be seen as weak. Everything clicked, erratic action, secrets, all symptoms. Compassion flooded, mixed with anger at the deception. We talked deep, her post-surgery clarity evident, regrets pouring. No excuses, but context-changed narratives. Custody revisited, I agreed to joint, trusting her stability. Boys benefited, shuttling happily. My relationship strained under this, girlfriend felt threatened by the ex-drama, leading to a breakup, amicable but painful. Single again, focused on co-parenting, which evolved into family outings, platonic but united. Then another turn, tumor regrowth scans showed, requiring more treatment. She asked for help. I stepped up, driving to chemo, minding kids during sessions, role reversal healed wounds, forgiveness budding. Amid this, my startup hit big app acquired, windfall securing our futures. I invested in her treatment, anonymously at first, but she knew. Gratitude sparked something old, but wisely we kept boundaries. Boys grew, starting preschool, oblivious to past storms. But fate twisted again during treatment. She met a fellow patient. Romance bloomed slowly. Jealousy flickered in me, surprising, but I squashed it, happy for her. Our dynamic shifted friends, co-parents no more. My life opened, travel for work, new hobbies like hiking, even dating apps tentatively. Yet reflection brought clarity. The marriage's end wasn't villainy, but untreated illness, poor communication, life's curveballs. We celebrated the boy's birthday together, her new partner polite, me solo but content. Peace settled, until a final revelation, going through old boxes. I found letters she'd written during dark times, unsent, detailing her love, fears, regrets. Tears came. Understanding deepened. No reunion, but closure. As years hinted at passing, I pondered sharing this saga, hence this post-lessons in empathy, vigilance, the unpredictability of life. Who knew a headache dismissed as stress was the root? Reddit, your thoughts? Has anyone navigated similar? Word count 8012. Part 5, fast forward a bit, and life's tapestry weaves on, the boys now in elementary, excelling in soccer and art, their energy a daily reminder of resilience. Co-parenting solidified into a well-oiled machine, shared calendars, joint decisions, her health-stable post-treatment, tumor in remission thanks to cutting-edge trials I helped FA. Her relationship with the fellow survivor deepened. Engagement announced quietly, and surprisingly, no pang hit me, instead, relief that she found happiness. Me? I dove into philanthropy, using the startup windfall to support mental health initiatives, speaking at conferences about hidden illnesses in marriages, anonymized of course. Dating resumed, meeting a teacher through a mutual friend, sparks genuine, pace slow. But shadows of the past occasionally loomed, like when the boys asked why we split, age-appropriate explanations given, emphasizing love persisting in new forms. Then came the unforeseen pivot, a class action lawsuit against the MLM company she was in, victims uniting, and she became a key witness, her story exposing predatory practices. Media attention trickled, local news featuring her redemption arc, which brought unwanted spotlight but also closure, settlements aiding her financially. I supported from sidelines, proud of her advocacy. Boys beamed seeing Mom on TV. Amid this, my new relationship blossomed, talks of blending families emerging as she had a stepdaughter. Caution prevailed, therapy guiding. But twist of twists, during a routine audit for my foundation, discrepancies surfaced, not mine, but traced back to her old embezzlement, loose ends tying to a larger corporate frow. Authorities revisited, but her immunity from testimony protected. Relief, but it unearthed more. The lawyer friend was indicted, revealing a network of scams she'd been pawn in, tumor-clouding judgment. Vindication for her, but stirred old wounds. We convened, dissecting the mess, emerging stronger as allies. Boys thrived, family vacations planned with extended crews, her fiancé, my girlfriend, all cordial, life felt full, scars faded to stories. Yet, the ultimate surprise, at a boys' school event, we shared a moment, laughing over their antics, and I realized gratitude for the journey. Without the chaos, no growth, no this. Divorce wasn't end, but evolution. Read it, if you're still reading, that's my tale. No heroes, no villains, just humans fumbling through. AMA, I guess. Actually, reflecting back, the early signs were everywhere, like how she'd zone out during conversations, attributing it to fatigue, but now knowing it was tumor-related fog. Post-divorce, I researched endlessly, joining support groups for partners of brain tumor patients, learning how symptoms mimic personality shifts, addictions as self-medication. It humanized her actions, though didn't excuse. The boy's genetic condition managed with therapy, bonding us further. My foundation grew, partnering with hospitals, funding research that might have saved our marriage if caught early. Dating the teacher evolved. She understood the baggage, her patience a balm. We traveled as a unit, boys warming to her. Her wedding came, small affair, I attended for kids, toasts sincere. No jealousy, just closure. Then my own proposal, accepted amid cheers. Life cycled on, twists teaching adaptability. In the end, the divorce forged better versions of us. Families expanded, love redefined.